time to take a look at stories making the headlines in Nigerian newspapers. I have with me in the studio lecturer from the University of Lagos, Dr. Dan Ekere, and in-house analyst Obani Akiwali. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you.
All right, we head straight to the papers now, and I begin with the Daily Trust. Reps ask service chiefs to go. We did not appoint ourselves, and some PDP APC senators agree with lower chamber. On the front page of the News Direct, presidency attacks Abaribe for advocating Buhari's resignation. A Senate passes vote of no confidence on security agencies. On the front page of the Daily Times, insecurity sacks security chiefs. Senators tell Buhari urge president to declare national security emergency. Senate sets up ad hoc committee to interface with NSA, others summons IGP. On the front page of the Blueprint, Nigerians react as NAS says there's grumbling in the military. Service chiefs have overstayed. Call on president to sack security chiefs. Let's have fresh ideas. APC chieftain. Abaribe's call for Buhari's resignation. Stray comment. Presidency. Rejig security architecture. PDP, ADP council, federal government. Well, finally, presidency attacks, that's on the front page of the Nation newspaper now. Presidency attacks senator for asking Buhari to quit. Insecurity, senators, reps push for service chiefs sack. All right, gentlemen, we'll take the story from the front page of the Blueprint. Still talking about the story that is on the front page of the news, a majority of the newspapers this morning, talking about insecurity. The National Assembly asking for a rejig of security chiefs. Just yesterday, on the dailies, we also saw where they were talking about adopting community policing. And even on the papers, we saw that the president was expressing shock at the level of insecurity in the country. The Senate seems to be talking tough and asking for a rejigging of the security architecture. And with the president coming to a realization on the state of insecurity in the country, do you think that he will tilt to their request of rejigging the security architecture now? I'll start with you, Obani.
Let me first start by saying the handlers of president are doing bad job at it. It's so unfortunate when you had the commander-in-chief of armed forces, a retired major general, and infantry officer coming out to say that he's not aware of the security state of the nation. And this is then president that once in 2 weeks has security briefings from the security chiefs. And he said he doesn't know what is happening. Yet, Malami says Amotekun is illegal initially. Recitation in Northwest, North Central. The governor of Benue recently said he was attacked on his farm. But yet, Mr. President, who's supposed to be the chief security officer, is not aware. Now, going to the...
Is that really his fault? Or those who are handling not giving him full details of what is going on?
I am not sure whether President put earbud in his ears or he doesn't watch TV and he doesn't hear the number of killings every day, the kidnapping that happens everywhere. I'm not sure whether he doesn't hear what happened on the train line from Kaduna to Abuja. So I'm not sure what kind of information the president listens to. Maybe he listens to TV Niger Republic or TV Benin. But looking at the security, the grumbling within the military is due. Every set has, the expectation is that when you get to a particular level, your set will produce an IG. Yeah. Your set will produce chief of staff. But we find out that this current set of chief of security staff have overstayed their welcome. No doubt about it. When they took over office, the spate at which Boko Haram have control over the nation, they have done marvelously well. But the tactics seems to be working.
Anymore.
For me, the only part of, you could remember if the Boko Haram will have a fund to attack Major General in charge of Operation Lafi Adule, it tells you the kind of temerity or going to Damaturu during the day. For me, it is enough is enough. Let President rejig these guys. They have overstayed their welcome. Let's look for new ideas. Let's look for new, fresh people, fresh ideas, and what have you, to combat this level of insecurity. And there is no doubt about it. The country is not safe. You can't, even in Lagos here, you dare not go to certain areas at certain hours of the day. So the question is, if the president is not aware that his citizens are under amount of insecurity, there is a problem.
Let's bring Dr. Ekere in now. Would a rejigging of the security architecture really bring about the needed solution? Do you believe that?
Well, to a very large extent, because The truth remains that the moment you bring in a new set of people, the tendency is that they want to impress. Not only that, they are coming in out fresh.
It's impressing what we need at this point.
Impressing, how would they impress you? Is it not performance? It's not by speeches. So if they perform and you're impressed, obviously that's what we need. We want people who will perform, now who have fresh ideas. Over time, you will discover that some people have been observing what is going on with the expectation and some calculations that these ones are supposed to leave at a certain time, and what we step in, this is what we are going to do. Unfortunately, that is not being done. Don't equally forget that a lot of monies have been spent on training these people.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, you just wash them away, doing nothing. Now, as we speak, the thing is even gaining ground. Yeah, the military is doing well, no doubt about it, but they've not done enough. We are looking at a scenario in which, more attacks can be unleashed on the terrorists. As we speak, the thing is spreading practically, all over the country. And until you bring in people who have fresh ideas, who will be able to curtail this situation, you are likely going to have and not only that, even the issue of, loyalty again.
Yes.
Although we know that in the military is about command and control, but don't equally forget that when there is dissatisfaction, when people begin to have issues with, this kind of scenario in which some were supposed to have retired long ago, and you are still keeping them in the name of where they are the ones you have confidence in, the tendency is that you are going to
but do you think,
demoralize the others.
Like I asked the first time, because this is not the first time people have asked for a rejigging of the security architecture, seeing the level of insecurity, the spike in all of this, but would you think that this time around, with the president being aware now, he would take the step?
He's not aware. He has just told us that he's not aware of the insecurity in the country. So I'm not sure what the president is aware of. So every time people come out to tell the president this is happening, that is happening, the president is not aware.
So invariably he's not, you don't think he's going to rejig the security architecture?
Rejigging, and one of the things that I think I don't want to support this President Buhari regime is that he's man or man. President can only appoint people that he knows, not people that it's not based on competence. Sincerely yours, Major Lieutenant General Buratai has done a fantastic job routing those Boko Haram away from Biu, from his own village. The Chief of Air Force is doing a fantastic job using ISR equipment to detonate or what have you. But what we're saying is that the tactics seems no longer to be working. And that was exactly what President Buhari did when he took over the Hems of Affair, to see how better things can be done. Look at the case of the former IGP. When people discovered that the former IGP, the transmission of the transmitter is becoming frequent, the president has to take a decision using an Interpol. But yet, I'll tell you that we've not seen the effect of the Interpol man, even in the policing. So when things are not working, you don't need to look at people that you know or you don't know. There was an interview one of the mercenaries that was supposed to try Boko Haram said, he said, the government seems not to be interested most times. And you find out that there's another that says it's only a madman that keep doing the same thing, same way, and expect different results. So if we're expecting different results, Boko Haram are used to our military. They know how they will come through Damboa, we'll go through the other, we'll go through the
Because they understand the terrain.
Why not bring in new people with fresh ideas and what have you, and let's see how far they can go. And appointing military chief should be based on what performance, competence. Not that people just sit there for donkey years doing nothing. And we have rhetorics that people can now go, they opened Damboa yesterday, attack happened again. So people are not safe. So it's high time the handlers of president, especially the chief of staff to the president, allow the president to know the real thing. People are suffering.
Absolutely.
People are rendered homeless. And IDP gets increased on a daily basis. But yet our president is not aware. Yet our military chiefs are still sitting down there. In the Senate climb, those military chiefs are they are going to be kicked out, or the system is going to be rejigged.
All right, quickly, let's look at what the Senate has been talking about, championing now, talking about community policing. And the question on the minds of many is, or rather the concerns is, if we are still going to run this kind of structure with community policing, that it wouldn't work.
Well, my thinking is that the idea of community policing is that we are going to atomize, policing. And in doing that, you must equally change the structure of command, because this scenario of, operating from the center will not, I have my doubt if it will be able to give an effective community policing of the kind that we are looking at. So what it means is that since the Senate is beginning to think in this direction, and I know that even in the House of Reps, some have raised some of these concerns.
Yes.
The right thing to do would be to, touch the constitution a little, particularly with respect to the area of, security, to ensure that we break this thing down into the level that a lot of people have been advocating over the years. That is to say that we now have state police. In which case, states will be able to equally break it down to local governments and the rest of it. Now, with that level, community policing becomes more effective because there are chances that you are going to recruit people from the various yes, and they know their communities better. So once you have that kind of a system in place, what you are going to have is that those from the community who know the criminals will tell them what to do. That because as it is, I am now in charge. All right, this thing is kept in my custody. The moment you do this, it's going to affect my job. So you better keep off. Otherwise, you continue to have this same routine of, yes, just giving it a name. It's not a nomenclature we are looking at. We are looking at a system that performs. So I feel that we should, do some form of amendment with the Constitution such that the question of, security does not become a central issue, but something that all the states, will be able to take care of down to the local government level so that we can have a more effective system.
But with the states, the financial stakes at which some of the states are right now, can they really handle this?
No absolutely. The Senate is just trying to grab the headlines. They are not sincere. Really? You discover that they have been on holidays for a couple of months and they are back now and they want to play on our emotions. Community police funding, the Senate is getting about 157 billion naira in the budget of 2020. I am not sure if we divide that by 36, that's about 2 billion. How much is Lagos Labor Security collecting for 20,000 people? How much is OES in Osun collecting? I don't believe in the Senate. Permit me to use that language. They are just trying to play on emotion and sentiment. When you come back, the Senate president hometown was attacked. And the Senate president is now coming, we don't have, is it not that you just got to know that the security architecture is bad? He has been a House of Rep member for almost 8 years. He has been in the Red Chamber for almost 12 years. Now he's coming out. This guy is just playing emotional sentiment and what have you. The Constitution, like I say, fundamentally, our Constitution is totally porous, not working. That's the sincere truth. And the moment we rejig our constitutional provisions and take a lot of items out of the exclusive list, the better. Because when you have community policing, that you are going to involve the IG. So what it means is that whoever is the community police officer in TVC will still have to report to the central. And that's what we're saying. That's what, how do I wait for central to take decisions? So what is the modality of arresting people in Kano? Is it the same of arresting people in Lagos? So every crime has different dimension. So the Senate coming to tell us that the country is not secure. Well, are they just maybe they're like president too. They are not aware of this level of insecurity. They're just coming to be aware. So this is just headline grabbing. And for me, I don't believe in this crop of senators or House of Reps because.
But at least they are trying to offer solutions.
They are only doing PR. They are not. They are self-serving. I'm telling you, all the senators have personal security. Look at what happened in Imo. AA candidate has a civil defense officer by him. What is the population of civil defense in Nigeria? Do you have security? Is the doctor having his own personal security? So when you have community police, you can be sure that the chairman of the local government will have 10 people following him. So the system is created in such a way, skewed to favor the high and mighty. Every former governor of a state will have a DSS, will have a police, will have a army. Do they have two heads? So creating a community police with the Senate that we have here is just to allocate. Have you seen a convoy of ministers? Have you seen a convoy of chairmen with civil defense, with man o' war? Are the areas where they are living secure? In Maiduguri, you find out that some local government chairman has never been to their local government area. They stay in Maiduguri and collect allocation every month. And yet to come up with frivolous headline grabbing and what have you that community police. What is community policing? Has anybody come to define what community policing is for us?
That we do not understand the scope.
So now they want to, now because they discover that there's agitation everywhere, that let us manage our security. Federal government is now taking over. That is the word. So sincerely yours.
It becomes really challenging. If the idea of community policing that they have is the type
IGP
that
is the chief community police officer.
You have practically in every local government you have a police station at least.
Yes.
Fine. And you can send a policeman to a community in each of the. If that is the idea of community policing they are looking at, I think that would be a failure from the.
They said they are recruiting 20,000 constables, 40,000 constables.
That will not even
for a population of over 200 million. Divide it by
as
state.
we speak, the total population of the Nigeria police force, they are not up to 1 million.
Not up to 500,000.
So and you want to bring it 20,000 more.
Well, costable.
I do not think that is
So
sincere.
sincerely,
That's
it's
not
just a mere
That's
joke,
not
headline grabbing.
don't
We're
think
not ready.
You are not ready.
We're not
We
ready.
must go to that level of, bringing police to...
Closer to the people.
Yes,
Yes.
and you shouldn't make it an exclusive preserve of the center.
All right, let's leave it here at this point, gentlemen. But thank you so much for your contribution on the topic this morning.
It's a pleasure.
Time to take a look at stories making the headlines in Nigerian newspapers. I have with me in the studio a lecturer from the University of Lagos, Dr. Dan Ekere, and in-house analyst, Obani Akinwale. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
So we'll look at the stories making the headlines. The Daily Post, as well, Daily Trust, rather, is what we're starting with. Reps ask service chiefs to go. The writer says, "We did not appoint ourselves. Some PDP APC senators agree with lower chamber." News Direct says here, presidency attacks Abaribe for advocating Buhari's resignation as Senate passes vote of no confidence on security agencies. Daily Times is saying, insecurity, sack security chiefs. Senators tell Buhari urges president to declare national security emergency. Senate sets up ad hoc committee to interface with NSA, others summons IGP. The blueprints. Nigerians react as National Assembly says there's grumbling in military service chiefs have overstayed. Call on president to sack security chiefs. Let's have fresh ideas, APC chieftain says. Abaribe's call for Buhari's resignation, stray comment, says presidency. Reject security architecture, PDP, ADP, council, federal government. The Nation says here, presidency attacks senator for asking Buhari to quit. The writer says insecurity, senators reps push for service chief sack. So we'll stick with this story. Presidency attacks senator for asking Buhari to quit, of course, is intertwined with the security story where the senator calling for the resignation of service chiefs. Of course, a senator there was asking for Buhari to quit and resign. So let's talk about this, gentlemen. What's your take now? Senator Abaribe is in the forefront of this.
Let me say that Senator Abaribe, as a Nigerian, has every right to demand for security of life and property of himself and his constituents as guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic. And any serious government, the priority for any serious government is security and safety of its people. But outside that, how did we get to where we are today? It's likes of Senator Abaribe.
Okay.
PDP has the opportunity to put this country on the pedestal of God of better history when they governed this country for almost 16 years or thereabouts. If PDP has not messed up, you can be 100% sure that there will nothing called APC. If PDP has invested, you recall that when General Buhari took over the power, it was then that we discovered that subsequent administration has been trying to demilitarize Nigerian military, not giving them right equipment. There was one of these soldiers that came to TV, I think 2011, and it was showing us footages of the military architecture that they were using in Sudan. That's what we have in our military. And you could recall that Buhari just came in, when they did audits of what we have, they have to be now re-equipping the military. So what we have done is because the governments are afraid of coup, they have made the military not to be so effective. So Senator Abaribe and the likes brought us to where we are today. And if PDP has done what is needful, we'll not be where we are. But let's leave the messenger. Let's talk about the message. Are Nigeria safe today? You and I knows it's absolutely no.
Why?
Let me tell you, I am back on a trip to Plateau State a couple of weeks ago. And on my route, Jemima Abuja Road, the military man I saw at the checkpoint was telling me that I should keep praying. And you discover that at every almost 5 to 20 kilometers, you find military truck. Now, internal security, which is supposed to be the prerogative of police, civil defense, peace corps, and what have you, has now turned to the job of the military. Now, when areas are now taken over, instead of handing over to police, police has turned to the only place where police function well is in cities like Lagos. If you go to places like Borno, 15-kilometer radius. I bet to challenge anybody that want to counter this, that for Abuja, you cannot drive safely. If you go to the airport in Abuja and you are taking Uber service, you are afraid that the Uber man on the road will stop and kidnap you. That is at the Federal Capital Territory. The Rigasa-Kaduna train line, there is attack on that route. Every day people are being killed in Southern Borno. Every day people are being killed in Kaduna. Every day people are being kidnapped in the West. Every day people are losing life. You remember what happened also in Bayelsa recently, that military took over a city. So you ask yourself, what has this government done to prioritize life and of Nigerians? But I will tell you, Abaribe has a message, but they brought us to where we are today. But notwithstanding, the chief of staff to president, who the president said anybody that wants to see him should go to, needs to stand up to his responsibility. If he's actually acting instead for the president, Nigerians are not feeling safe. We are losing jobs every day. Criminals are increasing every day. People are getting frustrated every day. Look at every facet. Insecurity in terms of armed banditry, kidnapping, and what have you. You have Lassa, you have Corona, you have job loss. What is left for people? So you find out that people are getting frustrated every day. And an idle hand is a devil's workshop. It's not even a workshop. It's a full company for the devil. So we're not safe. But the National Assembly should stop the rhetorics. They should swing into action. Right. There are certain parts of the Constitution that empower them. They need to do what they need to do, but they seem not to have the ball. That's the truth.
All right, Dan.
Yeah, I think there's a cue from there, because we do understand that it is the responsibility of the National Assembly to make laws, and one law that we need so seriously is that of community policing, and they need to tinker with the Constitution for that to be done. Yeah, saying that the president should resign, yeah, politically speaking, that is not out of place, because
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, when you look at it, he is the chief security officer, the commander-in-chief.
He should be in charge of ensuring.
He's in charge, not should be. He's in charge. It doesn't matter who. So if the president will tell us that he is not aware of the security situation, which suggests that either he's not being briefed regularly or that he's not being told the truth. But let's even assume they are not giving him the correct brief. Are you saying that he doesn't have access to papers?
No.
That he doesn't have television? So at least those things must be there. He should be able to have an idea of what. You don't rely solely on people to brief you when you can have access to.
Well, he's the president of the country. And saddled with a lot of responsibility.
What responsibility?
Exactly. The responsibilities as such that he cannot look at paper. Is that what you are saying?
Do you know in this regime you have Minister of Police Affairs?
Yes.
You have Minister of
You have NSA.
You have NSA. You have DSS.
So everyone will have to brief the president.
So you have to make sure that.
Let's assume that all of them have given him the wrong brief. The president must have. He is a human being, for God's sake. Yeah. He vied for the office. Those people you are talking about, they are people he brought on board.
People that right is not safe.
He brought them on board. So you must have an idea of where you are going. At least Nigerians, even in his own area,
it's not safe.
The other time, a local government chairman also was kidnapped. And we understood that whether he was an in-law to one of his relations or something. So is that safety? So the man knows. He should know. Perhaps he was expecting that, yes, the military would have been telling him that we have removed the Boko Haram from every part of Nigeria. Those are the kind of stories.
At the point, they said they were technically defeated.
Yes, even till now, they are still telling you it's technically defeated, but they are technically destroying Nigerians. That's the challenge we're having.
It's the kick of a dying horse.
That kick can be very dangerous.
Yes, because the dying horse can kick you and you could die.
Are you getting it? So that kick sometimes is even more dangerous than when the horse is normal and is going away.
Absolutely.
The horse might not kick, but when it is dying, obviously, that kick is even more deadly. So let's make effort to ensure that the horse dies fully without kicking. Because if you allow that horse to kick, that kick is something you will not be able to survive. And that is where we are now. So the president must sit up. The idea of president should resign, in other climes, yes, it does happen. But here, obviously, resignation is part. It's not part of our
regime. It's not part of our.
It's not part of us, because here, to get the office is something else.
Are you expecting the president to resign on account of Abaribe's call for?
It's not about Abaribe.
It's not about. It's about the security challenge.
Are we safe? Are you safe as a Nigerian? Tell me how many security you have in your streets. Tell me how you got to office this morning. Tell me how you are going to get home tomorrow. Tell me, in areas, good enough you are a reporter, in areas you have gone to cover a report, how many police, people within the area overwhelm the security architecture? In the whole of Lagos State, how many police officers do we have? You remember the Bado in Ikorodu until they have to call the local guys. You remember people they were kidnapped on their way to redeem. They have to come from Ijebu. And also on and on like that. There is no day in Nigeria that you don't have either banditry or kidnapping.
Killings are going on daily.
And yet,
unreported,
the president
so
is
many
not
of them.
aware. And yet, the security staff chief are sitting down there.
If the president is sincere, what they need to do is,
all right, gentlemen.
this community policy issue has to be addressed the way it ought to be.
And we all believe it's come to stay. All right. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
gentlemen,
it
for
has to
talking to us. We're out of time at this point. Thank you so much for talking to us on this.
Well, it's time to take a look at stories making the headlines in Nigerian newspapers. I have with me in the studio lecturer from the University of Lagos, Dr. Dan Ekere, and in-house analyst, Obani Akinwale. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you.
All right, we head straight to the papers now, and I begin with the Daily Trust. Reps ask service chiefs to go. We didn't appoint ourselves. Some PDP APC senators agree with lower chamber. And on the front page of the News Direct, Presidency attacks Abaribe for advocating Buhari's resignation as Senate passes vote of no confidence on security agencies. On the front page of the Daily Times now, insecurity, sack security chiefs, senators tell Buhari, urge President to declare national security emergency. Senate sets up ad hoc committee to interface with NSA, others, summons IGP. And on the front page of the Blueprint, Nigerians react as National Assembly says there is grumbling in the military. Service chiefs have overstayed. Call on President to sack security chiefs. Let's have fresh ideas. APC chieftain. Abaribe's call for Buhari's resignation. Straight comment. Presidency. Rejig security architecture. PDP ADP Council FG. And finally, Presidency attacks senator for asking Buhari to quit. Insecurity, senators, reps push for service chiefs sack. Well, that's all the stories on the front page of the newspaper this morning. But then we'll take the story from the front page of the Daily Times, especially focusing on the Senate setting up an ad hoc committee to interface with the NSA, others, as they summon the Inspector General of Police. But some have said that despite the steps being taken by the Senate, they are taking aback, or there are concerns about the directive by the president asking that the borders be open to some foreigners to come into the country, that perhaps the president should also look at reversing that statement, because if we say we want to tackle insecurity, we shouldn't be opening our borders to strangers. Obani, I'll start with you.
Let me start from the later part of that story that says the senators are forming a ad hoc committee. I see that Senate appropriating and reprobating at the same time, quoting the statement of the single Senator Abaribe, who said Nigeria did not vote for service chiefs, but Nigeria voted for Buhari. As such, Buhari should resign. So it's now becoming a dramatization whereby the person you did not elect, you are summoning the person. And you could remember the drama with Idris, the former
Kutige.
No, Kutige
No,
now.
Kutige.
The former IGP of police that refused to honor the invitation from the Senate because he's not an appointee of the Senate, though the Senate confirmed his position. So the president opening border, that's why we're a bit concerned. The president was in London, where he told the president of Ghana, we're made to understand that he told him that the reason why they closed the border is proliferation of small arms and insecurity. And again, yesterday, the president is not aware of the level of insecurity in the country. So you ask yourself, you wake up, you hear the president saying, I'm closing border because of insecurity, and the same president come out to say he's not aware that there is insecurity. Then again, you have a policy somersault. The president is closing borders against our neighboring countries in West Africa. But yet, Corona invested audience, we are opening our borders to them. The president refused to sign the AFTA Act because of its effect on the Nigerian economy. But yet, we're doing a visa policy for everybody to come into our country. A country that is not safe, a country that has different database for everything. Police, if you want to do NIMR, you do capture. You want to do national ID card, you do capture. NIMC, you capture. Driver license, you capture. You want to vote, you capture. You go to bank, you do BVN, you capture. Yet we don't have a centralized database system in the country. yet the president is asking people to come. Yesterday in Abuja, I was watching a clip whereby Mr. Abatunde Irukera, the chairman of Consumer Rights, was clamping down on the Chinese store where they have expired food that has till 2073, stapled on those items in 2020, yet the president is opening a border. Sincerely yours, one begin to wonder whether the president even knows what is happening within the vicinity of the villa. I will recall a video that surfaced online a couple of years ago where the wife of the president was saying enough is enough. He cannot take this. So you ask yourself, what did the president even know? So it seems the president doesn't know anything. And he told us rightly that any minister or anybody that wants to see him should go and see Abba Kyari. So you take it there that whatever information we are getting that the president said now is as said by His Excellency, Chief of Staff of the President, person of Mr. Abba Kyari.
All right, Dr. Kerry, one other aspect that people are also concerned about in our fight against insecurity is our budget for defense. A lot have said that it is abnormally low if we say we are sincere in the fight against insecurity, and that perhaps now that we are even looking at developing community policing, funds might also be another challenge. What kind of commitment are you expecting from the government if we say now that we are aware and we want to tackle this head on?
Well, one thing is, yes, the budget is low, but even as low as it is, how has it been used? You know, I think the issue of utilization is critical. You know, the little you have, how well have you used it? Yeah, I do not think that the question of budget will affect the issue of community policing, because there's practically no state in Nigeria today that is not sponsoring the police, that is not financing the police. So if we are going to address the issue of community policing the way it should be, we must tinker with the Constitution in so many respects, all right? Because we call ourselves the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I've never seen any federation where states will be going to the center to collect money. I've not seen it. I've not read about it. And what I do know about federation is that, yes, the federating units are the ones that even the strength of the center is dependent on the units.
Yeah, on the federating units.
There is no place called Nigeria outside the 36 states. So why should we begin to have... So if we're able to handle a comprehensive issue of that kind, for us to be properly policed, then the issue of funding should not be, because the states will recruit people that they can fund, and they will explore resources in their terrains. Because at the moment there are several mineral resources that are not being tapped.
But from what you are seeing, yes, have we shown the commitment, or the words that we like to use, political will to tinker with the Constitution?
There seems not to be any, even from the statement of the Senate President. He has not given any insight as to, because he just feels that community policing is maybe drafting the police to the community, as if they are not in the community.
Exactly.
That's where they are. They are everywhere. Right. But they are not effective enough because, number one, the number is abysmally low. Right. Two is that they are ill-equipped. And three, I doubt if there has been any, because when you are not motivated, the tendency to work effectively, morale will be low. So a lot of issues are really involved, and we need to address it comprehensively for us to be properly secured.
All right, Obani, your last words quickly.
Yeah, what I want to say is that community policing, are you going to recruit the same number of community police for Alimosho local government and for Ikosi? So you ask yourself, who determines what? And like you had earlier mentioned, let each state buy military vehicle, they have security trust fund, they equip military, they have joint military task force. Allow each state to function like a proper federated unit, rather than everybody on the 30th go out and camp to Abuja to go and collect money or waiting for one IGP to give orders. That is what we're asking for. And the Constitution must be reviewed, and must be reviewed quickly, so that we stop all these unnecessary killings of Nigerians.
Obani Akinwale, Dr. Dane Kerry, thank you for your time on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you so much.